So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another video of the Shield Dude on a Couch and a brand new episode of Is It That Bad? And for this episode, we're doing something different from the other episodes that we have because we've talked about older albums, but today we're going to talk about a brand new album that just came out this Friday, and it's none other one than Corey Taylor and the new album Corey motherfucking Taylor too. There it is. And I'm sorry, there's a chat here with JC for all of you to see. So yeah, that's the new album that came out. And we're gonna talk about it. So first of all, Tom, JC, how are you this morning?
Good, thanks, Hector.
I'm doing good. Thanks.
Good. So yeah, so this Friday, this album came out, and I had an idea. I sent the guys a message like, hey, like why can't we do an Is It That Bad of a new album? And if you think about it, last week I did on Sunday I did an album review of Puddle of Mud, so it was like an Is It That Bad for me, but me alone. So yeah, so so you know the drill. We have 3 rounds. First, we talk about our first impressions. Then we talk about the 3 or 4 tracks that we think are the worst, and then we give our final score and we give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So JC, do you want to start this one?
Yeah, I'll start. Yeah.
So what were your first impressions of Corey motherfucking Taylor too?
So my first yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really anticipating this. I mean, I was thinking of doing a review because he's popular and all. I remember his first solo album came out, I think it was right before I started my YouTube channel. So it was like back in October 2020. It was like right after it. And I didn't review it back then. And I don't even think I listened to it. I probably listened to the singles. But I never liked the singles because I remember like one of the singles was like a rap song or something like that. So I wasn't interested in it. This one I was kind of interested. I didn't listen to the singles, and when it came out, it was kind of like I didn't know what to expect because a lot of these songs go in all different directions. I mean, some of them sound like Slipknot, some sound like Stone Sour, other ones sound like these ballads and pop and punk, and I mean, I'll be talking about that more in the second round. But I really, wasn't really sure what to think about this, but I'll give my my final thoughts at the end.
Cool. So what about you, Tom?
Yeah, I don't actually know of Corey Taylor's first album, really. I didn't know about CMFT. So this CMF2, this was new to me, exploring Corey. It feels like he's unshackled. He's being released from Slipknot into the wilderness, and he's exploring all sorts of things and trying different styles, and there's so much range in this album. I was quite surprised some of the songs I wouldn't have necessarily associated with as being a Corey Taylor type song. Like some of them, when I talk about the tracks a bit more in our second round, I'll probably talk a bit more about that. But as JC says, he's embracing like pop, punk, Slipknot style stuff, Stone Sour style stuff, a couple of ballads, which I'm sure we'll talk about in due course. Yeah, it's very eclectic, I think is the word. It's a word that gets used a lot, but it is definitely an eclectic Corey Taylor release. And yeah, just interesting to see him unleashed, trying lots of different stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, I did listen to his first album when it came out, but there was this rap song that it was just pure cringe for me, and yeah, I wasn't a fan. So when this was coming out, I was like, I don't know. I was like hesitant to listen to it, but I did listen to it, and I had the idea. So yeah, it goes through different styles, and but I think the first album was like more like a statement, quirky, and sometimes I think sometimes these albums feels Like, yeah, he's trying to experiment, but not really. So kind of safe sounding sometimes. But yeah, I think he's a good singer. But yeah, we'll talk about more of like tracks in the next rounds because there's some interesting one here. So, JC, what tracks do you think are the least good in this release?
Okay. The first one I picked was track 2, Post Traumatic Blues. I really think this was like a Slipknot demo song that was just lying around. It just had that like bad production, and it was just it kind of sounded like that, like either the Volume 3 or All Hope Is Gone, that type of sound. And I guess it was either like a leftover song or maybe he just wanted something to sound like a little bit like Slipknot. And I just didn't think it worked, and I thought the production was really bad. The next one I chose was Breath of Fresh Smoke. It's a country ballad. The lyrics were very cheesy. Like he says, you're like a breath of fresh smoke. I want to inhale when I choked, or something like that. And another one was like the production was kind of muddy. And then when he got to the chorus, it sounded more like a Bon Jovi type of song, like from the 90s, where remember when Bon Jovi kind of like went in like a country direction, kind of like that. And the next one I picked, We Are the Rest. This one it's just really bad. It's a punk rock, and the lyrics are just really bad. It's, I don't know, I guess like butt rock or that type of song. It's just like that has a really cheesy chorus, and then the guitar solo kind of like sounds like it comes from like an 80s hair metal song. So that one I didn't like. I'll pick one more. Someday I'll Change Your Mind, track number 11. Just very commercial. It's like Bon Jovi and Coldplay. It's just like a very like boring type of song. So that's all. And
So
that's all.
that song is a bomb play.
Bomb
So
play.
I said Bon Jovi and Coldplay, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah.
You know that song "Breath of Fresh Smoke." I was thinking
Yeah.
if this was the 80s, that song would be used in a Marlboro commercial.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah.
I think JC and me are old enough to remember that there were like cigarette commercials in TV back in the day. There were billboards. You had that camel with the cigarette, so it was something that was everywhere.
Yeah,
So,
there was a lot of advertising.
yeah, a lot of times. So Tom, so JC picked 4, and I think we should pick 4 since this is a new album. What are your 4 least favorite tracks?
I'm going to say Beyond for me. I didn't really like that track, although it had a certain feel-good flavor to it. I don't really like that kind of feel-good song, to be honest. It wasn't really for me, I don't think. But that said, I think there's 1 or 2 feel-good ones I did quite like on this album, so that doesn't necessarily make sense. But I didn't really like Beyond much, and it's super cheesy. It's kind of glammy. And if you watch the video, I think maybe that doesn't help.
He's got a fucking eye patch.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't quite sort of see what he was going for with all that, but he would look like they were having fun, and fair enough. If that's what they want to do, to have fun, fair play to them. We Are the Rest was one I didn't really like JC said. I think it was the lyrics on this one, it just felt kind of corny, when they're sort of chanting "No way to beat me, no way to win." I looked like I was enjoying myself singing it then, but I didn't really enjoy the song much, to be honest. It's just kind of annoying and jarring when I was listening to that one. Otherwise, number 3, God, what did I pick as my 3rd least favorite one? I think I didn't really like All I Want Is Hate, which to me was a little bit of a B-side Slipknot track. And I think JC alluded to that. I actually quite liked Post Traumatic Blues, though, more than this one. I found All I Want Is Hate was more of that kind of Slipknot B-side type track that just was like a song they'd maybe shelve and like, oh, let's stick it on. Corey Taylor's like, I'll stick it on my solo album or something. That's kind of what a couple of songs felt like on this album. And I think JC said, the country one with the cheesy lyrics. What was it called? Breath of Fresh Smoke? I was going to say Breath of Fresh Air.
Yeah.
breath of fresh smoke is
No.
perhaps more appropriate.
Who needs a breath of fresh air when you can have a breath of fresh smoke?
It sounds like a smoking advert, I suppose, doesn't it? Yeah.
There hasn't been a song that talks about that much about smoke since Smoking in the Boys Room. So yeah,
And you usually get anti-smoking adverts now.
anti-smoking songs. Yeah. So you heard it here first on the Shield on a Couch. Tom does not like he doesn't like feel good songs. So please stop sending him feel good songs. He doesn't like it.
Generally, I don't. But there is some feel good music I do like.
I know. I'm joking with you. But so I'm gonna pick my 4 tracks too, and beyond, I totally agree with Tom. It's too much feel good. It's too much happy. It's like in your face. And when you see the music video, and he's got an eye patch, I'm like, why? But then I remember he's Corey motherfucking Taylor, and no one tells Corey Taylor what to do. Oh, but I wonder what will Corey Taylor think of her review. Who knows? Maybe we should tag him. I still haven't heard from Wes Cantling of Puddle of Mud after my review. I was supposed to interview him, but never happened. But yeah, beyond, it's too pop, it's too polished, and it doesn't work. And All I Want Is Hate, I agree with Tom. It sounds like a Slipknot B-side. And also, the backstory with this song is that he hates a song by the Beatles that's All I Want Is Love. So he does All I Want Is Hate. And it's kind of like, it's kind of, I don't love that Beatles song, but it's kind of fucking lazy. Like, it's a lazy ass track. Like, oh, All I Want Is Hate. Like, oh my God, Corey. Oh my God, you're so novel. You're so cool that that's why you are a New York Times bestseller, because you change it. Oh, I see what you did there. And musically, I'm sure a lot of people that like Slipknot will like that track, but I have a word that I have for my final thoughts. So yeah, that song is pretty bad. We Are the Rest, I think, is an atrocious pop, like punk song. It sounds like a bad version of a Sex Pistols track gone wrong, and like when they're like, or the Ramones, and not good because I love the Ramones, but it sounds like a karaoke song. If I'm being honest, it's like a song that you would sing in a karaoke if you're drunk. And you have nothing else to do. So that's what that song sounds to me. And I know there's other worse tracks, like, but I'm thinking that the one that takes the win for me is that Breath of Fresh Smoke song. It's just, when I was listening to it, it's like a country song, and the lyrics are so corny, and I couldn't help but listen to this and thinking, like, did he really think that this was a serious ballad? Like did he, like, him, like, oh my God, I'm penning this. This is gonna be so beautiful. There's only one worse ballad this year, and it's called Candy by Puddle of Mud. But this one, it's almost getting there. So yeah, those are the 4 tracks that I think are the worst. So now we're gonna go to the final round, where we're gonna vote and say if this album is it that bad or isn't that bad. So JC, your thoughts?
Okay, I'm gonna give it a thumbs down. I think it is bad. There were like a few songs which I thought were like okay, but there's like really nothing on this album that I would say, like, I really like that song. A lot of the other songs, some of the other ones I didn't pick. Like the first one, The Box, that's like a filler. It's kind of like it's just like
unnecessary.
Like a 2 minutes. Yeah, like that. Yeah, they didn't need to have that one in there. Then there's one, track 7, Midnight, which was like one of those. It was either like Snuff by Slipknot or Bother from Stone Sour, like that type of song. That one was, I guess, like okay. It was listenable, but like not good enough for me to say I really like it. Another one, Sorry Me, that's another one of those Stone Sour type of ballads. Again, it was just okay. Punchline, that was it was pretty much forgettable. It kind of reminded me of like Motley Crue or something. And then there were some of like the ones that were kind of sound a little more like leftovers, like All I Want Is Hate and Dead Flies. Those ones, I think they're kind of like they sounded like leftover tracks from that last album, or whatever it was called, like This Is the End, or I don't even remember the name anymore. But overall, I think it's just not good. And the album cover is like the laziest album cover like I've ever seen in a long time. It's just like he took a picture of dolls and then he just like spent 5 minutes on Canva like creating this album cover. I mean, it's just
There it is. I'm opening my Spotify, people, so we can look at that album cover. Yeah, it's super lazy.
Yeah.
It's super bad. And there he
Yeah,
is. And
it took him like 5 minutes to make. Yeah.
and also, why does he have that like purple like background? And
Yeah.
it's so yeah, thumbs down by JC. What about you, Tom?
I actually quite enjoyed enough of this album, I think, to save it. So I'm actually going to give Corey Taylor's CMF2 a thumbs up, which might be a surprise. But I don't know. I didn't find it with a lot of these albums we talked about on this series. I found them really difficult to get through. With this, I didn't find it that bad. I mean, it was quite simplistic. The songwriting's not great, but I did find myself enjoying some of these songs on a sort of quite maybe quite a shallow level, or just as the music and I think Corey's singing is pretty good. So there was enough of it here that I liked to still want to save it. I can easily listen. I felt like it was listenable. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It felt listenable, whereas a lot of the albums we usually have on this series I just can't stomach for long. So with this, I can spin it a few times and not mind it. It doesn't offend me. Although there was just the sort of that feel good factor, which is kind of grating at times. I liked so what was the tracks I enjoyed? Midnight was actually one I really liked that song. I just really enjoyed that one. Post-Traumatic Blues was one actually I quite liked. Punchline. I think JC, you weren't sure about that one. I quite liked that one personally. I liked the chorus of that one. And I'm going to just annoy everybody and say, certainly like metalheads probably, and say I actually quite like Someday I'll Change Your Mind. Is this where everybody just kind of clicks off the video and goes, Green Man, we hate you now? But yeah, I actually quite enjoyed that. What was it? You called it Bomb Play. It's the Bomb Play song.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. The Bomb Play song I quite dug. I kind of liked it in a sort of a sort of soulful way. It was kind of soulful,
Well, you know why you like it, Tom? Because you saw my short video on the study that if you play metal in the car, your relationship is doomed. So, but if you play that Bomb Play song, the date will go on. So you're a smart man. And we got it here. Like Tom really likes to feel good sometimes.
Yeah. Was that was kind of like a Bryan Adams-y kind of song as well, I thought a little bit. It had that flavor to it. Yeah. Like guilty pleasure kind of a track, I think. That one.
Yeah, I don't think that song bothered me that much either, because I didn't mention that song. So yeah, so there you have Tom's pick, and Tom actually saved this album. So now it's my turn. So yeah, I gotta say there's other albums that have, like he says, offended me more on this series, but I found this album to be predictable and kind of boring sometimes. I've heard worse things, but it's an album for me that it kind of bored me. And the songs that are really bad, they're really bad. It's like he took that cheese out and like let me add more cheese to this song. like instead of more cowbell, what does this song need more? It needs more cheese. Here, have more cheese on the song. And I think the single Beyond is an atrocious single. And just that music video with the eye patch, it's like, how can I take you seriously? But this is like Corey Taylor, just naming it Corey M. motherfucking Taylor, is just like saying that he doesn't give a shit. He's like, whatever it is with this solo album. But for me, I think Corey Taylor has a great voice, and his voice here doesn't sound bad. But I would like him to make an album that I will pull back on the cheese and give me maybe something more like heartfelt. And I think he has the talent to do that. But I think this album seems like I saw the Metal Meltdowns review, and I agree with him with something that he said. He said that he thought that this album sounded a little bit phoned in, and I agree with him. I think it does
Yeah.
sound like very phoned in. Like it's like here are the songs. Go with it. So it's one of the worst rock albums of the year. There's only there's only one that reigns supreme, and that is Ubiquitous, or whatever the fuck it's called by Puddle of Mud.
Yeah.
That one is just the worst. So this album, yeah, there's some things I enjoyed with it, but I think that it's too phoned in, and that's why I'm giving it a thumbs down. So there you have
Yeah.
it. So the album, Almost Saved by Tom, and I could just I can imagine Tom driving to work singing that Bomb Play song.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah, so we want to know from you people, what did you think of the new Corey Taylor album CMF2? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment what are your favorite tracks, or what are your worst tracks, and let us know if you like this idea of us doing newer albums for the Is It That Bad series. Obviously, we're still going to tackle old stuff, but this is a new territory, like talking about an album that's new. And maybe some people will think like, no, but you need to let it sink with you. But you know what? This is not a very deep record. Like, if we pick it for this series, it's not usually a deep record. So if you like the videos that we're putting out, do not forget to give us a like, and do not forget to subscribe. That helps us with the YouTube algorithm to get to more people like yourselves. So please subscribe to Tom the Green Man channel and JC Rock and Metal Reviews. Tom the Green Man does some great album reviews, but he also talks about like books, like fantasy books, like horror series, and he interviews some shoegaze bands because he loves shoegaze. And JC Rock and Metal Reviews, he does a like he should be called JC Rock and Metal History Reviews, because you get the full history of bands. Like he's like a walking encyclopedia. You'll get all the knowledge, and you'll go out of it like, I learned something today. And if you haven't subscribed to me, please do it. I'm nearing the 900 subscribers, and it's all because of I want to thank all the new people that are subscribing, and the positive feedback. And if you like my videos, and I do a lot of videos, I do a lot of humor, but I also do a lot of interview for like up and coming bands and other type of things. So if you like it, please subscribe. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch, and we'll see you next time for another episode of Is It That Bad? Thank you, and good night.